Hold on.
Hold on, it's recording.
Ah, there we go. Crap! This is utter professionalism as always. Holy
You can't
shit!
click the button and say, "Oh wait, no."
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, we're
God.
back. God, it seems like it's been forever since we recorded.
Yeah, I mean, it was terribly last
Just
week.
days.
Last week, yeah.
This is season 4, episode 10 of Your Book Is Whitehead. Our season 4 roundup.
Yeah,
Recap, all
the year in review. Before we get to the books, let's just talk about the year. I think for me, I felt like the year was like our recordings were kind of rough, and I think that was just due to we had a lot of real life going on this year. Like
life kind of just took over and said, "That thing you do, no, you don't get to do that."
Yeah, yeah, let's see. You moved several hundred miles north and completely uprooted your lives. I, in 1 week, bought a house, a car, and lost my job. That was amazing. And then, like, we both spent.
How big of an oh shit moment was that for you?
So, to
Just
be
that
honest,
I now owe several $100,000 and I have no income.
yeah, I'm in debt for the next 30 years or so. Yay, mortgage. It was a fairly big one, but honestly, I had been seeing the writing on the wall for a while. So one of the things I had been doing at Cryptic was a lot of their recruiting, and starting in about November and December, the positions I was working on slowly started going away. Even when I found people for them that were great, they would go. And they didn't really have any sign of coming back. And things just continued that way, and they continued that way, and they continued that way until like March. And I was like almost towards the end of escrow, and I finally went to my boss. And I was like, look, you need to level with me. You know, I'm buying a house, right? Like, the time for me to be able to back out of this is is quickly coming, and I need to know. And I said, and I just straight up asked her, I'm like, look, am I losing my job? And my boss is like, I can't say anything, which is the HR equivalent to yes. Because if in HR you can say no, you'll just say no, because why would you torture somebody like that? And I was like, all right, great. And I called Michelle. I was like, look, I'm losing my job. And so we talked about it, and um, things were going to be okay. I mean, I was still, she was like, no, look, it's fine. I've got plans for this. I wouldn't have put us in this situation if I didn't have plans. I was, of course, kind of freaking out. And then on Sunday, my boss texts me, and she's like, look, I need to get together with you at the Starbucks, and I need to talk to you. I'm like, it's that thing, isn't it? She's like, yeah, it's that thing, but we need to talk about it. So, yeah, it was kind of a big freak out. And then spending the next several months job hunting was not the greatest, especially because like I got really close to getting a job several times where either I was like the person not picked out of like the final like two, or the company really liked me but realized that they had actually statted the job lower than what they actually needed. Like, I went and I almost got in at Tryon. Like, I got to the very final end, and they're like, you're great and fantastic, and we loved you, and you're everything we want. But the HR director, who is in Texas, in their Texas office, was like, but I need somebody who's more senior than where you're at now out here in Redwood City. I was like, well, that sucks, but I can understand that. So yeah, and like, but the recruiter was great and everything, but whatever. I have a job now. Yay! So yeah, hopefully 2016, and then will be filled with less job loss and 100% less. I hope having my house broken into and all of my wife's jewelry stolen, because that fucking blew. And then tell me, let's talk about your life. What did you do?
Kate and I quit our jobs in June. We put in our notice. We planned to move up here to be closer to my family, and she found a job, no problem. Pretty good job with a new school that is freaking amazing for her right now. And I thought, well, the jobs I need aren't the get a job several months in advance. It's the start next week kind of job. So I had to wait until we got up here, and then I put in probably 150 to 200 different applications for companies, and I've gotten called 3 times out of those. Part of it is the applying online is I hate it because you don't have any contact with the person.
Yeah.
But I just actually had an interview this morning at 3 a.m.
How did that go?
It went really well, actually. I got offered the position.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I'll be working that job, doing merchandising, which will be fun and interesting. But more importantly, it has a schedule that will let me attend classes and actually be able to go to school almost full time. So in a couple of years, I should have my degree and be set to have a real grown-up job.
Nice. That would be great. You got to put in the dues. Yeah, until then.
So yeah, I've spent the last several months looking for work, but in that time, my dad had a major surgery that I had to basically be his caretaker for a while, caretaker and chauffeur. So that left little time for prepping for recordings and things like that. So we did not read our full complement of books. I was going through the list and I was like, oh crap, we only read 9 books this year.
Yeah, but I mean, that's 9 books, but we still put out our full complement of podcasts. It's just one of the slots that we would normally fill with a book was involved me coming down there and watching a terrible. We can talk about that one a little bit too, but yeah, I mean we didn't read all of the books. I think that really part of it was just, for me anyway, it was hard getting into it for me because here we are taking time out of our lives to read these shitty fucking books, and it's even harder to do that when your life is going
right. Wrong. The shitty book can't be the best thing going for you.
Yeah, it's like there were so many times where I was like, I need to read this book, or I could be playing a video game or applying to another job, or like there was just.
Speaking of video games, I just started playing Rebel Galaxy. I need to get this out here before I forget. Play this game.
Is it an iPad game or?
It's on Steam. It's like $20.
Rebel Galaxy.
Rebel Galaxy, and it's basically you fly around in a spaceship, you fight space pirates, or be a space pirate. You can do trade routes. It's like EVE Online without the assholes.
Is it actually? So I have to ask you a question. So the thing that bothered me about EVE was that I went into EVE hoping for X-Wing or TIE Fighter MMO with dogfighting in space. Is it like that, or is it more like
dogfighting? It's the fighting is 2D, so you don't have to worry about that third dimension, which for me is great because I suck at 3D tactical environment things.
Okay,
like if we ever the last Starfighter, I am not.
no Death Blossom.
No Death Blossom. But it's a fun game and it has a really great steel guitar soundtrack.
Okay.
So it to me feels like kind of like Firefly.
Hmm.
So there's that. But I digress.
Okay.
Yeah, the when things aren't going well, reading the shitty books is not a thing you want to do.
Yeah. And so it was just, it felt really hard to get my head in the game of trashing these books. And uh, so for that, listening audience, I do apologize. And also just, staying on top of getting the uploads up on time. I really, I apologize for that, for my part in that. Um, but at the same time, now that things are like evening out, I am looking forward to next year. I don't know what our first book's going to be. We usually have one picked out by now, but I'm sure if we put something up in the Facebook group, someone will suggest something
You know
awful,
what?
and
I don't
terrible.
want to. I don't want to take it to those animals. Just look at some of the shit they saddled us with at the end of the year.
Oh yeah,
I'm
or
pretty
some of the
sure
things that they
Sharknado was
suggested.
from them. Mermaid's Kiss was from them.
Yeah. All right. Why with
So
with that? Why don't we talk about that? So Tyler and I did our usual thing where we go back through all of the books we read and we list them. We rank order them. So if you're new to the podcast, basically we go from the least shitty to the largest steaming hot corn-filled pile of shit that we had to read this year, and we talk about them a little bit, and we kind of sometimes get to arguments about why we think one was worse than the other. Last year, his and my picks were like my 10 was his 9 and his 10 was my 9, and we
but
went
other than
back and
that, it
forth.
was yeah.
Yeah, when we went down the list, I think we both agreed on what was the shittiest book, but everything else was like just boom, 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 down opposite. So let's see what we're gonna do for this year. So, do you want to go first with number 9?
Number 9 being the least shitty, right?
The least shitty.
The least shitty for me. You're going to disagree with me on this one, I think. Tarnsmen of Gore, our convolution book, was the least shitty for me.
Why?
Because if I didn't know what it created, if I didn't know what the further books got into and what they did to humanity, I would have enjoyed that book because it seemed like a fairly straightforward hack and slash fantasy book,
Uh-huh.
which are 100% my guilty pleasure. Um, I remember at one point years ago when I was living with the werewolf staff and everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I had this book. I
That
can't
is
remember the
not a
name of
that is not a euphemism. He literally means the people he used the people he used to
yeah.
run a werewolf LARP.
I was reading this book and I don't even remember what it was called, but it like the picture was like the main character was supposed to be a dwarf, but on the cover the artist made him look like Fabio. So he had like the long flowing hair and was holding up this giant stone, and I'm reading this book and it's a god awful fantasy novel. And my roommate Chris comes down and goes, "What the fuck are you reading?" Based solely off the cover. And I was like, "Oh, it's a book about a dwarf who goes on an adventure." He goes, "It looks like a bodice ripper." And I was like, "The fuck's a bodice ripper?" And he explained to me that fantasy or romance novels basically all involve someone getting a bodice ripped off, and the covers all look exactly the same. I know Joe's going to give me shit for saying all romance novels are the same, but they are. And that was the first time I'd ever heard the term bodice ripper, and it was fairly appropriate.
Yeah.
But that's my guilty pleasure is these shitty fantasy books. So
okay,
not knowing if I hadn't known what it would become, like if I know nothing about Tarnsmen of Gore, I would have read that entire series and fucking defended it.
Really?
I almost guarantee it because I would have invested myself early on before it got all fucked up, and then later on would have been like, well, no, you got to take it in stride, and I would have been a fucking apologist for that shit.
Oh, that's terrible.
But the first book doesn't get into any of that weird crap. I mean,
Oh, except
very,
for
very little.
well, sure, but it sows the seeds, right? With
right. It starts to boil the frog. It starts to step up the weird shit you're willing to accept.
Yeah, a woman's place is to be enslaved.
Right.
Maybe that's their natural inclination. Oh, God.
Right. So you start reading and go, oh, maybe, okay. I don't really agree with that. But then later on, you're like, you know what? Maybe there's some truth in that.
and then you're a terrible person.
Right. And then boom, you're an asshole. But yeah, so for me, number 9 was Tarnsman of Gore.
See, my number 9. See, one thing Tyler said before we started recording was that it's not going to be a very good podcast if he just says that there's a 9-way tie for shitty books, because there's not one that's any better. And really, like,
you don't want to apply the adjective best to any of these books.
Yeah, and we never
want to say my favorite.
Well, except we did have a favorite once with a Cuckoo's Calling.
One time.
That one time. But with honestly, again, you're gonna disagree with this. Clovenhoof is number 9, and because the quality of writing was actually like, it wasn't bad. I don't remember.
There were no glaring errors.
Yeah, unlike Insanity, I don't remember there being any instances where the authors misused the wrong word and substituted the there, like I said last podcast.
Right. And unlike Mermaid's Kiss, they didn't change anybody's name halfway through.
There's that too. It wasn't a very good book, right? It was like an anthology of short stories based around the characters that the book was in, and it's in some ways that's not, and they did have threads that did eventually tie together, right? Like, this person from this chapter eventually shows up here, and I can't really remember there being any Chekhov's gun moments in that book. But I think that if it hadn't been trying so hard to be funny, and they had just worked with it a little, and especially since the main character, Clovenhoof, is supposed to be the devil, and he was not that aware of. Yeah, he was stupid, right? And that's the thing, is that the devil, I couldn't agree with that depiction of that kind of character. So, but beyond that, it wasn't that bad as compared to these other ones. What was your number 8?
Number 8 for me was Clovenhoof.
Okay. What did you think of Clovenhoof?
I thought somebody read Good Omens and went, I could write a book about the devil.
Yep.
And then tried to be funny with it and just failed at that.
Yeah.
Technically, the writing is good. I don't want to say good, sound.
Yes.
But the content was just meh. But it also didn't. I never got angry at that book.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the books on this list, I just found myself going, no, because I just got angry at it. But okay. I never had that with Clovenhoof.
Yeah. My number 8 was The Illustrated Prophets of the Ghost Ants by Clark Thomas Carlton. I just couldn't. I couldn't get into it. Right. And again, it was another book where the writing itself was sound, but the whole concept that there was some sort of worldwide apocalypse that wiped out almost all humanity, and then humanity evolved to be the size of insects. Just it didn't work. It's implausible. Like there's I can set aside Um, I can suspend my disbelief for things like Clovenhoof, for fucking, to even try and put it in the context of a mermaid's kiss, but like I just could not, like, that's not how evolution works. That doesn't that's just not how this works. That's not how any of this works, to quote the meme. Um I did think that they had some things going for it, like the concept of you as a tiny person getting mobbed by giant, like large dog-sized fleas and being completely insanguinated in a matter of moments. That's kind of fucking terrifying. Um, but like it didn't feel like it just, the concept didn't work for me as far as just as an overall thing, like people living beside ants, and yeah, that's human society now, ant based, just meh, didn't do it. What was your number 7?
Number 7, Gate of Souls: A Familiar's Tale.
Okay, why?
Shitty fantasy.
Okay,
Shitty fantasy. I gotta back it occasionally.
but that was really, I mean, like, I'm not gonna say that that's Antigua level of shitty fantasy, but that was really terrible. Like,
Uh-huh.
just everything about it was dumb.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with that.
Okay.
It was dumb, but that's where it has to end for me, because
That was
there's
just
no
that
more
was dumb.
no more shitty fantasy. We have some urban fantasy,
Yeah.
which doesn't fall into the same category for me.
Okay.
I think it comes from my like early youth of wanting to play D&D, but not really getting to until I was like a senior in high school. So I was
Hmm.
kind of hooked on those books because I
Yeah.
couldn't play. Um, so there's that.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's you know how some people will take in any stray animal they find on the street because they just have a soft spot in their heart for abandoned
That's you
animals?
in
That's
fantasy.
me in shitty fantasy.
All right. It's like it's like a lost one-eyed three-legged puppy.
Right.
Um
It's just doing the best it can.
right. My number 7 was Divergent by Veronica Roth. And it got that high on the list because um it really wasn't anything of a book, right? We had seen every aspect of that book before, recently, in fact, in any kind of situation. You have your cast-based post-apocalyptic future, high Hunger Games. You have your special snowflake person that's any fucking YA book out right now. A love interest that treats the female protagonist like shit, even though he likes her. Yeah, in every fucking book that's YA book that's come out. Um, it just, we've seen it all before, and it was just dull and milk toast in every single way. There was no aspect or no part of it really that stood out, and in that sense, it was just kind of equally bland. So for me, number 7 was Divergent by Veronica Roth. Who was your number 6?
Number 6. I just lost it. Number 6 for me was Prophets of the Ghost Dance.
Okay.
I had the same issues you did with it, but it extended to it wasn't a complete book.
Yeah.
It was a re-release with some illustrations of part of the book. They couldn't even finish the book before they released it to try to make some money, which I had a huge problem with because it didn't tell me the whole story. Not that I needed it, but they could have done a lot better than what they did. Like, I feel like I was done wrong
Yeah.
by this book. Yes, number 6, Profit Like Ghost Dance.
Yeah. I had kind of forgotten that it wasn't a whole book, but yeah, now that you remember it, that is a big issue. Number 6 for me, A Mermaid's Kiss by Joey W. Hill. Um,
I have a feeling we're only going to agree on one place on this list.
Yeah. A Mermaid's Kiss for me, just to kind of to touch back on that, the sex wasn't sexy. It had a whole running theme of almost but not quite non-consensuality to the whole thing because, in theory she could have not consented, but really it didn't feel like, the authors would have given that character any real room to not consent, because every time she had to have sex to like heal the angel, it was made very clear that if she didn't, dire things would happen, and that's not consent. And you can kind of get along with the fact that, okay, it's a mermaid, but she's a descendant of Ariel, so she can become human because of magic. Okay, I get that. But then at the end, when you're like, oh, the fucking octopus mermaid chick can turn into a dragon, and
Everybody's got
the mermaid is a part fucking phoenix, and you're like, what the fuck is this otherkin bullshit? It's just like it was ridiculous. It was so stupid. And then you have the whole like the fights, and I don't even remember like if the angel put his heart back in his chest or what the fuck happened there. If he's just wandering around with no heart, but she's his heart. So, isn't that's special? And then there's the whole like just the concept of where human beings come from in that book is just, oh god, it was just stupid. And then like what you brought up with the fact that the editing in it was terrible, and the fact that
at some point somebody was like, oh shit, we're gonna get sued.
Yeah, the descendant, the character who is the original mermaid from the story of the Little Mermaid, who the author started out calling Ariel, then changed names radically and strangely, like for like the middle 2/4 of the book, like the middle half, if you want to think about it, with a fourth on either end, and then like in the last fourth of the book became Ariel again, and you're like, the fuck was all that? And just some of the situations that the characters get in is just ridiculous. Oh, and the fact that she can turn into a fairy. I'd totally forgotten that until just now. She had 4 fucking forms. She had a fucking mermaid and a human, and she could turn into a pixie, and she had pixie sex, and it's just, now I'm imagining the scene where she's a pixie riding his cock, and it's as big as her. It's just fucking ridiculous.
It's like watching a little gym rat grab onto a punching bag.
Yeah, or you gotta imagine that some pervy person probably drew that up as like, what Tinkerbell might look like going at somebody. But anyway, that was my number 6.
I give you shit for saying that, but it exists. I've seen it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's Rule 34, right?
I worked for Disney. We tried to fuck with each other all the time.
So you found like badly done.
That was emailed to somebody.
You're an HR nightmare.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Number 5.
Number 5. Sharkano.
Sharkano? Okay, yep. Why?
I think Sharkano did it. Yeah, number 5. Sharkano. It's middle of the pack. It was bad. The science was awful. But I like the idea of lava sharks.
But they were nonsensical lava sharks. They were
absolutely nonsensical lava sharks, but I still like the idea of them. And the next time I run like a campaign, someone's gonna have to fight some lava sharks. It's gonna happen, but
Yeah,
it'll make sense.
you
It'll
should
make
you should
sense in the
you should
film.
make your that should be a con game. You should
You
make
know what?
D&D Sharkano.
I would, but I don't know when my next con game is going to be. I was supposed to go down in February, but I'm not going to now because I
You got the job,
have a job.
and you
But
need need to build up some of that PTO. All right, you have anything more you want to say about Sharkano?
it was shit. Don't read it.
Number 5 was Tournament of Gore.
Okay.
And it like these other ones, like A Mermaid's Kiss and Divergent before it, it was just kind of boring. And like for me, it was especially glaringly, it was especially boring because I had read a much better version of the book with John Carter of Mars, because this book pretty much cribs that plot, like large swaths of it, where with a guy from turn of the century, turn of the 19th, 20th century, United States is taken from Earth to another planet by mysterious forces to do a thing. And along the way, he meets aliens that he befriends, and he falls in love with a woman, and is stronger and faster and can jump because he's from Earth. So I mean, basically, it was John Carter of Mars, but with non-consensual BDSM, or the seeds of non-consensual BDSM thrown in there. So it was just, for me, it was like, okay, it was like watching a Yui Bull version of a better movie, and being even less entertained by it. So, but on the other hand,
Have you seen In the Name of the King?
no, I refuse. I saw the first half of Blood Rain.
Okay.
Because I had Ben Kingsley. I'm like, Ben Kingsley, fucking Academy Award winning Ben Kingsley, and yeah, he must have needed to like renew his SAG membership or something.
Well, see, In the Name of the King has a fucking amazing cast, right? So what I'm thinking is, they called all these people and were like, "Look, you've got 3 pictures left on your contract with us. So we have one movie that we really need to get made. So if you do that one, we'll just let you out of the rest of your contract."
Yeah.
And all these actors went, "Yeah, sign me up." Jason Statham, John Rhys Davies, Ron Perlman, Ray Liotta,
Burt Reynolds, yeah,
Matthew Lillard, all these great people. And they're like, "Yes, great, sign me up." And as soon as they had their name on that dotted line agreeing to do the movie, they're like, "Oh, BT dubs, it's an Uwe Boll movie."
And they probably all went, shit. But yeah, like, so true. Apparently,
except for Ray Liotta, because that dude is like, "Yeah, I'm going to be an Uwe Boll movie. I'm going to be in the shit out of that movie." It doesn't make any sense, but he fucking owned that movie.
Well, like he apparently got laughed out of the offices at Blizzard when he approached them to do World of Warcraft, and they were like, "You can get the fuck out. We're not letting you do it." Yeah,
he tried to get that.
Yeah, he tried to do that, and he got laughed out of it. And
dude, talk about fucking shooting for the moon.
And that was shortly before he like recorded basically a fuck you video to the internet. Yeah. So all right, that
was 5.
That was
Tinesman of Gore. Yeah.
Okay.
So you said Tinesman of Gore was your 5.
Yeah.
So we're on down to number 4. A Mermaid's Kiss for me was number 4.
Okay.
Because I'm so fucking sick of urban fantasy. I'm so
and romantic urban fantasy.
Urban fantasy romance novels. They're all exactly the same. The sex is poorly written. They make no sense. The main character is clearly a Mary Sue because they have very few flaws and everybody automatically loves them.
So I will say at least this, the one thing it had going for it, at least it had a slightly original supernatural creature for the main protagonist, right? We have not yet read a book featuring a mermaid in 4 years, and that was the first one out of all the
Yeah,
urban
I will
fantasy.
give you that.
Usually it's
Yes.
usually it's elves or fucking vampires or whatever the fuck. Like
Right.
I still want to write the romantic fiction, supernatural romantic fiction featuring a mummy, because that just abuses the shit out of me.
But like a sexy mummy.
Sexy mummy. I'm trying. Maybe
But
she's
no, it's got to be like the full bandages,
maybe
dry, desiccated body underneath.
maybe she's into old people. I don't know. Just it's terrible.
Would the mummy be male or female?
Oh, the mummy has to be male. It's always
Okay.
that's got to be male all the way. Like the whole like the shape changing tiger from the fucking the tiger book we read. It's all it's got to be a male mummy. It's got to be a pharaoh, so she could be the princess.
Oh yeah, and she's clearly a reincarnation of the princess.
Yes, I have to write like some terribly, horribly cliche version of Egypt that would make Leslie fucking just murder me, like find me and do horrible things to me because of
they did that. They did that. It's called Gods of Egypt. It comes out next year.
Don't want to see it.
Oh my god, we saw the trailer for it before Star Wars, and I was just like, it's so white.
Yeah,
Why is
it is so white. It's so white that even the director has apparently apologized for the casting. That it's so fucking white. All right, so that was your 4. Was a Mermaid's Kiss?
It's like, why is the Danish guy an Egyptian god?
I don't know. My number 4 was Insanity. I'm not really going to rehash it. If you want to hear about it, just go listen to.
We just
talked about it. But for me, like it's so, I guess, high on the list. Is that just the bad psychology of the book, right? Like if you're just try, please make some attempt. And if you're not, just don't. Like, and it's great that you went to Wikipedia and you did so much research on Lewis Carroll. But if you're going to shoehorn in every last detail of his profile from Wikipedia, you can at least do a moderate amount of research on actual psychological issues for you to horribly abuse in your crap fiction. Anyway, so that was my number 4, Insanity by Cameron Jace.
Number 3 for me, Insanity.
Okay.
It's just same reasons. It was a sad attempt, and the I don't want to say apologist because I hate that term. The attempts to reason away
his creepy photography
collection really put me off. They would have been so much better off just not mentioning it at all.
Yeah, he would have totally been on a website. Like he'd be a Megan's Law. Like he would have gotten picked up.
Book you're at, pursuant with Megan's Law, I'm required to inform you
that I was in fact arrested for soliciting photographs of young women over state lines. Number 3 for me was Gate of Souls, A Familiar's Tale. And it was just because out of the quality of the writing, if you think about the other ones on my list, the quality of the writing at this point was the worst. The pacing of the book, the just utter ridiculousness of the plot, the fact that no one really was ever in any kind of freaking danger, and it was just a train wreck of a fantasy book, and not as bad as Antigua, like I said, or Org's Odyssey, or any one of those other number 1s that we've ever had, but just like I can only imagine poor Shauna McGuire and her encounter on the bus with the author's husband. Just, yeah, and the fact that it was meant to be for all ages rather than YA. Like if it had been YA, it would have been at least a little bit less terrible. But the fact that the author meant it to be for adult, mature audiences, just nah, not happening. That's just it's stupid.
But
Yeah.
Melly Pips.
Hey, at least you know what? At least the author, at least Vernon McKinnon described what a fucking Mellipip is.
Instead of what the hell were they?
I don't fucking remember, and I don't care. They're the stupid whatever the fucking Mewogs or what the hell bullshit.
Mini
Wogs. I don't even know the fucking. You know what? I want to next year. I want to like see who are artists in our listening audience and be like, all right, you have no other details other than the name and that they can talk. Go. Design a MIDI wad, and if you win, I don't know, you'll fucking get something. Anyway, number 2. What was yours?
Number 2, where's my list? Divergent for me was number 2.
That bad?
It's unoriginal.
Okay.
It was the latest in the string of shit books about a post-apocalyptic society where someone has to fight for their life through ridiculous odds, and then it got turned into a movie because they all get turned into movies.
Yeah.
It made me angry to read, and I'm super glad we're not continuing the series. Like,
yeah,
if I had to Twilight my way through that shit, I'd be constantly angry.
No, because it's just going to be the same bullshit, right? Like the details might change a little bit based off of the shadow of a rehashed, recycled plot, but it's not going to get any better, and it's not going to get any more original. For me, number 2 was Sharknado. I just could not get past the bad made-for-TV sci-fi movie-esque writing, the ability of the characters to apparently travel vast distances in tiny amounts of time, the fact that the author, like, there was no, like, the creatures were inconsistent. They tried to put in a supernatural element without ever explaining it, and then without ever it doing anything or coming up. It was a total Chekhov's gun. And to the point where they devoted an entire chapter to this like lava possession, and then it never came up again. It's just the whole thing was just stupid. It was just dumb. And the fact that the lava sharks could be defeated rather easily by apparently just nuking the volcanoes, and then all the sharks that are out of the volcanoes are still there, like they just evaporate and as if they never were. Like, what the fuck? So it was just the writing was terrible, and so the characters were people I wanted to punch in the face. It's just stupid. It was shit. Don't read it. Jose Prendez, I don't like you.
All right, so I was correct. We agreed only on one book.
Yep.
And its place on this list, and that was the worst book this year we read, Grey, 50 Shades of Grey as told by Christian.
And really, for me, this book earned this pinnacle of it's the top of the shit heap for a number of reasons, because it's fan fiction of fan fiction that was yet another idea stolen from Stephenie Meyer, right? Like,
right.
Stephenie Meyer was going to do this with Twilight, and
but then like it got leaked and she took her ball and went home.
Yeah, and so then E.L. James went, well, shit. I gotta get on that, and wrote the same book. And while she did that, right, she made it worse. She made it worse. Like everything, every shitty thing that anybody ever said about Christian, about how he's manipulative, how he's an abusive person, how he's just fucked up in the head, how it's just terrible, all just totally
Right.
verified and
I
made
hate this
legitimate.
book. I hate this book because it means I have to stop arguing for it. Because when people would always go, "Oh, it's such an unhealthy relationship," I'll be like, you don't know that. You don't know anything about how Christian is." But then it's like, "Oh, he's a fucking nut job. Great."
Yeah, I mean, that's just the thing. It's like, right, like it legitimizes every complaint.
I feel like somebody who supported Donald Trump, and then he's like, "We should put all the Muslims in camps," and I was like, "Oh God."
Oh God.
That's how his supporters are like, "Oh shit." But now, like most of them are, they're like, "We've gone too far. We can't turn back. We have to keep supporting him." I can at least stop supporting Christian.
It just, yeah.
Apologies to any Trump supporters in our audience.
No. No.
I would be fucking amazed if we had one.
Yeah. If you are listening and you're a Trump supporter, stop listening to us. Anyway, the just the yeah, like the writing didn't get any better. Like she wrote 3 books and the writing never improved. Like,
Well, she's clearly not up to 1,000,000 words yet.
doesn't matter. I don't think Stephanie Meyer was. And was the fucking Alien book
Host.
Host? I mean, Host was at least quality rise a better written book. Like in the later,
you saw some improvement. Like she might have had some people look at her work and go, "You need to do these things in your future works," and she went, "Oh, I will take those under advisement," and actually did.
yeah, and that's the thing is that the Host,
See,
at least comparatively, was better in that sense.
sure,
Right?
E.L. James probably is just surrounded by people who are just so fucking in love with the what she's already written that they won't say anything negative to her. So she puts herself in this box of positive reinforcement, so doesn't think she needs to improve.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I have to imagine that she's probably gone to a convention, and so I'd be very curious to find out from somebody who attended that convention what she's like.
I'd bet that she's got handlers who like hand pick all the questions for her and just insulate her. She's probably surrounded with people who are just determined to not let her feel bad about herself.
I don't know, but just it's
There's an episode of South Park about it a while back.
well,
There's a music video.
that
Bulletproof Windows.
but
Yeah, I guess Cartman gets upset that somebody says some horrible stuff to him on Instagram, so the PC principal makes Butters go through all of Cartman's social media and filter out all the bad stuff
Mhm.
and only give him the good comments. And that works really well for him. So they're like, "All right, you're gonna do the same thing for Ariana Grande." Like Steven Seagal, and he starts basically doing Butters starts doing that for all these celebrities that everybody hates, and turns into this monster because all he ever gets is the
Negativity.
the negativity, and it's like, oh, yeah, it's just like when I worked at Disney. All you see is the worst the internet has to offer.
or when I worked at Kaiser. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So those were our 9 books, and then we had our one movie for the year. Technically not our one movie because we did live cast the first 3 Twilight films, but why go over that again? I've heard 0 rumblings about a sequel. Like, I don't think that they're going to do one. I think it did it was so mediocre. Its showing in the theaters was so mediocre. I don't think that they can justify doing another one, and thank God for that. Even though our experience with the audience was absolutely hilarious.
They've got to be working on the second one.
I haven't heard anything about it. Like you'd think that they would have like announced that they were doing it or something, but I haven't heard. I've heard zero about it.
Oh God damn it! Now I'm looking this up on the internet because I have to know.
Why do that to yourself?
Because clearly I hate myself.
Yeah. So
big shock. People who liked this also liked Twilight. Thanks, IMDb.
So the things we have planned for this next year. More books, definitely do that. I think we should do a movie or two. Both good
it's certainly
and
going to be a
bad.
lot easier now that I'm up here. We can do some movie.
Yeah.
Test.
Movie watching.
2017 for 50 Shades Darker.
Fuck!
Dude, 50 Shades of Grey made a ton of money and it cost them like nothing to make.
Ugh. God. All right. Yeah, they have to pay for really badly done CGI werewolves. Or, a gross of like body glitter. All right. So, and then we are like, I have already talked to Warlock. I saw him at Dickens on the final Sunday.
Oh, right, because he's the chair for next year's con.
Yeah, and he's like, consider yourselves already invited. I'm like, well, shit. All right, I've got some plans. Some things to suggest for how we should tackle it.
I'm going to put my foot down. We're not going to get those bottle cap shooters because I don't trust Ed with one or Kendra.
Wow, that's harsh. You don't trust Ed with something that can fling sharp metal?
Ed with an object that can fire at high speed a circular metal disc that has fucking jagged edges? No, I don't trust Ed with that.
I'm going to tell him that next game.
I'll tell him that next game. And Kendra,
the entire time I saw that, I just had this scene from A Christmas Story with
shoot your eye out.
Shoot your eye out. You'll shoot your eye out. Yeah, just yeah.
Stu had one in the Happy Jack studio.
And
I've got it and I load it up, and Kimmy is sitting across from me, and I'm pointing it down and I fire, and it hits her in the leg and cuts her. Like the bottle cap like sliced her leg open. So that's why I'm saying no to them, because one of you fuckers is going to shoot me in the face.
Yeah, we can't hurt your pretty face. That would just be
exactly the moneymaker. No. Also, liability reasons. Like
that's true. The last thing we need is for our live listening audience to take a bottle cap to the eye,
or one of them to get their hands on it.
Yeah. Some drunken monkey's like, oh, search,
right.
And then it'll be the great bottle cap massacre of Convolution 2016, and we won't get invited back to 2017.
How great would it be though if there was a warning printed in every con brochure?
You may lose an eye.
That was because of us. I have a goal now.
Should see about like if we
to have a solid con rule because of something we did at our panel.
That.
I would just love for us to be like, there will be no live animals allowed on con panels.
There will, in fact, be no mixing of lighters and silly string ever again.
Open flame will not be allowed at panels.
All right.
Okay.
So that's the show. That's season 4, episode 10. You have anything else you want to add?
Every book we've read this year should be burned in a fire.
Lit on fire, for sure. And the people who wrote them should feel bad for having written them.
Or should be harshly dealt with.
Chastised as sure, whipped with noodles. So
Except
yeah,
DL James just be into that shit.
oh,
See? Now you're thinking about it. What does Elo James look like?
I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't
Now
want to
have
know.
Nice,
I don't want to know.
nice. We shouldn't do this with the internet in front of me.
now she's gonna be in your dreams, calling you daddy.
She looks like someone who reads 50 Shades of Grey.
Not surprisingly. So like somebody's mom.
Yeah.
There you go. But an attractive mom, or like
I don't want to pass judgment like that on the show. So
all right. All right, so season 4, episode 10. We have one more for 2015 that we'll record when
soon. I don't know.
Tomorrow.
I'm not going to make any promises because as soon as I do, some shit will happen.
Yeah.
But tomorrow is good, or Wednesday.
Let's do tomorrow. Wednesday.
Oh no, you know what? I can't do tomorrow.
Why is that?
Tomorrow is my anniversary.
Oh yeah, no, go do that.
I mean, I don't know how late we're gonna be out, but we'll probably go out for dinner.
Oh yeah, don't make any plans with me.
Have the highest quality Watsonville sushi.
Hey, actually, you know what? I would, considering how much fishing goes on in Watsonville and Santa Cruz in general, I would assume
goes on in Watsonville.
Wow. I was trying to throw you a bone, man.
Actually, we've got a couple pretty good sushi places out here. Like better than I would expect for Watsonville.
Mexican food,
but nothing fucking touches our Mexican food.
I was gonna say, man. Right? Like
when I go down to LA and everyone's like, "Oh, you got to try the Mexican food down here." I'm like, "Bitch, I'm from Watsonville." Please.
Yeah, it's like the thing my wife's always like. I lived in San Diego, where the people who made me Mexican food walked across the bridge in the morning, and actually live in Mexico. So yeah, your Taco Bell knockoff is not impressing me in this.
There's a taqueria. There's a chain of taquerias. There's like 4 or 5 of them down in LA and Studio City area called Cactus Taqueria. That really, really well loved down there. But we go and like, oh, we'll have al pastor tacos, and I have an al pastor burrito, and it comes to us and it is fucking neon red. And I'm sitting here looking at this plate going, someone thinks this is authentic Mexican food.
Yeah.
And it made me so angry. I had a friend who actually thinks the best Mexican food in Southern California is at the Mexican place in Disneyland, the one in Frontierland.
What?
Yeah.
No.
We're not friends anymore.
No,
because that food's not bad, but that's far from the best Mexican food in LA.
No, that's oh man, yeah, no. I mean, and that
time is it?
It's 10:46. We're
10:46. Yeah, to go get a burrito now. God damn it.
So I will say this though, on our recent trip to Disney World, because I don't know if you've ever been to Disney World or know about it. It's like, how Epcot is arranged around the lake and all the little slices of life of all the different countries and cultures. Yeah. So if you ever go there, and listening audience, if you ever go there, do yourself a favor. I don't care if you don't like German food and you don't like beer and you think polka music is stupid. Shut up, go to the beer hall and get the goddamn beer cheese soup. Holy shit. Like, me, I don't know if you've ever gone.
They also serve a good, actually it's a beer cheese soup in Victoria at Albert's, the fine dining restaurant in Canada at Epcot.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't just walk into that place. You gotta like make a reservation and everything. But they have a really good cheese soup there too.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. And like, I am highly skeptical of buffets in general. But I figured that a buffet in Disney World is going to be safe because it's fucking Disney. And I am even more skeptical of anything cream based and soup like in a buffet in general. But yeah, I went back for thirds because it was so fucking good. So yeah, if
I
you
would
can
say
go and get that.
if you want some advice for what to do when you're at Epcot, go to the far side of the lake into France, and in France they have like a cart that serves frozen blended limoncello and Grand Marnier like slushies
Uh huh.
that have so much alcohol in them, it's ridiculous.
Nice.
And they're delicious.
That was something that caught me a little bit by surprise was the amount of booze in Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, that's kind of crazy.
It's because it's an all-encompassing resort, and they expect you to be there and not go anywhere else. Whereas at Disneyland, you can go over to California Adventure and get beer, or you can go to downtown Disney.
Well,
Did you
also,
make it down to the? Oh no, that's gone. That's been gone for a long time.
what?
I was gonna say if you went to Pleasure Island, they have this. They used to have this really fun club called the Adventurers Club,
Uh huh.
where it was like a perpetual show going on, and some of the best drinks I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Trader Sam's down in Disney by the Disneyland Hotel now in Disneyland is pretty good too with the mixed drinks.
I'll have to try that. All right. So, yeah, that's it. So yeah, we'll figure out when we're gonna record next. And talk about. I didn't
What
do
were you
much.
drinking today?
I was drinking Samuel Smith's, excuse me, nut brown ale.
Ooh, Sam
Delicious
Smith.
stuff.
I love their cider.
Yeah, Michelle does too. I got her a bottle for Christmas.
I'm finishing the last bottle of my Henry Hotspur's hard pressed for cider from Trader Joe's.
Mm-hmm.
I might stock up before the holiday season ends because I rarely see it there outside of like Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you should because, especially since it makes you hilariously slightly tipsy.
Well, last time I drank a whole bottle, I tried to post a status update on Google Maps.
That is amazing.
It took me like 3 minutes to figure out what was going on because I wasn't really paying attention. Anyway, thank you for listening. Season 4, Episode 10 of Your Book is Why Daddy Drinks, our shit book roundup.
Yep. And next, good book roundup. All right, I'm Matt.
This is Tyler.
And good night.
Thank you.